Welcome to this channel, guys. This one more video for the people who are new to DevOps and you know, who wants to get into the DevOps field. They are, you know, maybe the mechanical engineer or any other profession other than the IT profession. So there are 5 steps. The 5 steps career transition to DevOps. So career transition uh, is a tough decision and it's a wise decision. It's a good decision, and we all know that when we take some decision, we need to prepare for some, tough ride. So ride is definitely tough, but we are here to make that ride a little bit easy, not completely easy, little bit easy, and it will help you for a longer run because it's not just to uh, do the career transition, but you need to grow in that new field. That's also very important and very challenging. So, what are the steps? I mean, what are the first thing, a second thing, third thing, fourth thing? Like, what are the top 5 things you need to know and you need to get started? So, the first thing that you need to start when you need to think about it is to gather the information about your new role. Engineering background, commerce background, science background, or any other background other than the now IT background, you need to start thinking in that direction of the DevOps thing. So before you start thinking or before you think about DevOps, let's understand what do you mean by DevOps. So the first step of any career transition is to understand what is DevOps or what is the new thing that you are going to learn. So so the first step is what is DevOps? So DevOps is a culture. There is nothing, no software, no um, no book, um, kind of no database, not a library, not a binary, nothing. There is nothing called binary database called DevOps. DevOps is a culture. DevOps is a club of a lot of tools that will come together, and different people, I mean, it's not only one guy will do everything, but the different people will come together to produce um a good thing. I mean, uh, mainly when the many people comes together and work like connections, like for example, or assembly lines. You can consider the DevOps as an assembly line. So when these different you know topology guys or like a developer or like a integrator or like a tester, they work together, they produce a result a bit faster. But a new guy who is completely new to this DevOps thing, he doesn't understand what do you mean by integration, what do you mean by development, what do you mean by artifacts, and those things is very, very, very new to this guy. So in order to start your journey in DevOps, the first thing is that you need to understand what do you mean by the Linux fundamentals. The Linux is the base for all the DevOps tools. I mean, 99.99999% tools are installed on Linux. So Linux can be a different flavor. Like for example, Ubuntu is there dominantly, and Amazon Linux is there, and Red Hat Linux is there. So there are different flavors of Linux. But don't worry. I mean, 80% commands in all the Linux flavors are same. So understanding the Linux fundamentals, that how the process, how the services, what do you mean by kernel, and how these services once you get deployed on this on the Linux platform, how to stop, how to start, how to see if that service is running or not, how the if the service get failed, then how to take dump. So Linux fundamental is the basic, and it takes some time, guys. If you're totally new, spend some time on Linux. That's worthwhile, rather than spending more time on some automation stuff and those things. So it's better, it's always advisable to spend more time on Linux fundamentals. And we have, I mean, in our we have a career choice course where people from different profession, they come together and they join this course for DevOps, maybe from DevOps, maybe for data migration, data engineer course. So the first thing is that understand your landing strip. The Linux is a kind of a landing strip for your plane, for your DevOps plane. Definitely, whenever we want to travel, when you want to go and see the plane, we always go to the airport. So for the DevOps, the airport is the Linux. So without airport, you cannot travel. I mean, it doesn't mean that you will be there in the airport forever, but you need to be at the airport for taking off and for landing. So that's how important the Linux fundamentals are. We'll spend more time on Linux fundamental. So what is next? What is next? Next. Okay. So understanding the complete DevOps process. Once you're done with the Linux, you will get a little bit idea about what we are going to learn in the next chapter about the different process and how these processes are clubbed together. I mean, or how these processes are connected with each other. That's something you will learn during the course. But understanding the complete DevOps process is very much important. What do you mean by DevOps? Why people are, very mad about the DevOps. Companies are, hiring big DevOps guys. I mean, there are a lot of hiring sprees are going on, guys, for Azure, for AWS DevOps. I mean, we help people to crack their interviews. We help people to prepare for their interviews, and we help them to in on job support also. But those are the secondary things. The first thing is for a fresher, what do you mean by DevOps? Linux fundamentals, and the process about the DevOps, different process. Maybe some process you might already know, or some process you are totally new. Don't worry about that. It will not be new forever, guys. This is our mantra. Something is new, that is okay, but it will not be new forever. So get prepared. Tighten your seatbelt. Oh, you didn't tie it. Oh my God! Go and tighten the seatbelt, please, please. Okay, let's now understand what do you mean by code for a DevOps guys who are coming, let's say mechanical engineer or civil engineer or chemical engineer, or sometimes it's a computer engineer also. Okay, that's fine. That's I'm not getting into that. Well, what do you mean by code? So we'll understand what do you mean by code and why we write the code. If code is not there, then DevOps is not there, guys. Code is the building block of DevOps. Remember. And then when you have a code, then we need to create something from that code, right? Code is there. We are building some applications. That application, the raw application, is called artifacts. So we are creating artifacts or creating a package from that code. That process is called build. So we'll see what do you mean by build, and then once you do everything that, like in car company, we once a car get built, we go for test. So testing is also already here. So we test the applications also. We test the artifacts also. Once testing is done, then we get deployed. Definitely, it's all about your car. Um, they called it, what did they call in shop floor? Continuous integration, continuous deployment, something in the DevOps. But here, the assembly line, simple to the assembly line. But here it's more complex assembly line than your car. I mean, for me, it's because I never been to a assembly line part. Okay, so the continuous integration, continuous deployment, we'll learn about those things, and along with the code. I mean, with the code, then build, then test, then release, and then deploy. Those fancy terms you will understand. Uh, The development, integration, deployment process. I mean, these are when they club together, they call DevOps. So DevOps is a culture. Always remember, DevOps is a culture, not a binary or not a software. Then the final thing, the step four is get deep hands-on with doubt clearing session. We ask people to ask questions. If you guys don't ask the questions, then you will be in a deep trouble during interviews. So ask questions, clarify all your doubts, and get prepared for best interviews. But interview preparation is a one step away. First, you get hand do the hands-on. Definitely during hands-on, you will face a lot of issues. You will lose your patience. Sometimes you will say, "Oh my God, what is going on? I don't know anything about the development. I don't know anything about Java, Node.js, Python, and those things." So we will help you in that. We will teach you what is the code. What do you mean by the code? The last slide. What is the code? So in this training, the code understanding training, we will teach you how to see the code and how to understand the code. What do you mean? Let's say how to understand the code means how to understand the Java code. What they are trying to achieve from the code, and then you will it just will help you to understand how the build and testing phase and those things are um, are aligned with that. So go with when you do the hands-on with the coding with the CI/CD, a lot of question will you will gonna ask, and definitely it was gonna be a most interesting, fun-loving. That's a really enjoyable part of your training because ultimately you need to do the same thing in a real world. Okay. Now the final step is to do the capstone project. Capstone project means you are on your own. Nobody will help you. We'll give you the scenario, build the software. These are the codes. This is the software. You need to build the software. You need to use the right tool, right time. You need to prepare the pipeline, you know, and the expectation is once the code is built, when its code is ready, automatically, the build step, then testing phase, then release phase, and then deploy phase and monitoring phase will start. So this is all about the DevOps thing. The capstone project is the key, guys, and we encourage people to do capstone projects. And when you do and you're done with the capstone projects, boom, you're good. And rest of the things are interview preparation steps. We help them. We help many people to crack their interviews, and the success rate is 90%. Very few people they face challenges because they are not involved with the project, the capstone project. So get prepared. And for your questions, queries, don't hesitate to call me or reach me out on 9620 635 166. We are based in Bangalore. We are a non-profit organization, and we help more than 600 plus, yep, close to 600 plus people to crack their DevOps interview and then start their successful career in DevOps. Whether it's Azure DevOps or AWS DevOps, that's a different matter. But starting a DevOps journey is always exciting. So, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please, 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 please subscribe this channel. You will get a lot of things, guys. Everything is not chargeable. But if you want a detailed, dedicated training, labs, and doubt clarification, your interview preparation, then guys, it's a worthwhile to spend money. Till then, happy learning, guys.